Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. We are here to exchange some albums again. We're two albums each. Let's go around different. Let's start with Marcia.
Oh, all right. I don't think I was prepared to go first, but I will. So first off, I got this record with
Glenn's
this.
favorite artist.
It's Lou Reed's New York. Now, I know Glenn is not the biggest fan of Lou Reed. I know Steve is not the biggest fan of
I
Lou
love
Reed.
Lou Reed.
So, as I have been trying to do these last several weeks, I'm trying to tie back an album to an album I reviewed before. So, how this is related to the Pretenders is the last song on the Pretenders is a Christmas album. So, in the spirit of giving, I am offering up an album I know two of the panel will hate so they can take revenge on my bad reviews of their records. Merry Christmas.
You're so generous, Marcia. Something I love about you.
But this
Always thinking of others.
So this is his 88 release, or is it 89?
89.
89. I first became aware of Lou Reed watching MTV when he did the commercials for the Spree, and in the background, I heard, do 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 do, and I was like, what is that? I had no idea who Lou Reed was. I had never heard of the Velvet Underground. And then shortly thereafter, he came out with this, and I remember hearing Dirty Boulevard and just loving it. And then going back and hearing some of the Velvet Underground, and this is very not related to Velvet Underground. There isn't, these heavy guitars and all of that. This is almost more like Lou Reed's impersonation of Tom Waits, but it's better than Tom Waits, Glenn. I'm sorry. So I love this. Gentlemen, feel free to take it apart or tear it apart when you take it and review it. And then my next one, in the same spirit of generosity, because it's the Christmas season, the Jesus and Mary Chain's Darklands. This is a group that was very influenced by the Velvet Underground, which again, I know two of the panel don't care for. So this is a band where if you were to take the Beach Boys and blend them with the Velvet Underground, this is what you would get. This is their sophomore album. This is from 87. It's a lot more polished than their debut, and most people would tell you that their debut is better. And I like the debut, but production-wise, this one is superior. They've kind of come into some better vocals. You can hear them a lot clearer, and it's got a drum machine. It's got some 80s production going, but this is definitely a college rock 80s staple. This set the stage for a lot of alternative music that came out in the 90s. My choice.
What's the album called?
Mary Chains. Darklands. I'll put that in there closer.
Okay, Glenn.
Okay, well, I can make the review next week a lot shorter just by reviewing Marcia's albums right now. All right. There's some Jack White fans in the house. Jack White and White Stripes. Jack White put out 2 albums in 2022, pretty much simultaneously. One was like a heavier rock album, and one was more, I'm going to say melodic. It had a few more acoustic guitars and just, but anyway, so I'm offering up, I'm kind of maybe cheating a little bit here, but I want to give, if anybody picks this, the choice between the heavy one and I'm going to call it the softer one. One is called Fear of the Dawn, and the other one called Entering Heaven Alive. So Jack White, my favorite, if I had to suggest, if I just had to pick one, it would be Entering Heaven Alive. I think this is just a great album. So Jack White. And second, a guy from Toronto whose album got a lot of solid reviews. It was actually Larry and Norman Maslov who turned me on to this guy on a chat, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something. Orville Peck.
Yep.
And the album is called Bronco. Now, if you like Roy Orbison and you like Chris Isaac, you will love it. It's kind of I don't know, how do you describe it? It's just I don't know, it's just a really solid record. But like I said, you have to really like a Roy Orbison, Chris Isaac vibe to get into it. So they're my two.
Cool. All right, Chris.
Okay. The first one I picked, it was new to me. I don't know whether or not it will be new to some of you, but it features Nicky Hopkins, who does that a lot of tasty piano on a lot of Rolling Stones records and Beatles and different people.
Kinks.
I mean, he's the piano player on No Expectations, Loving Cup, Winter, Waiting on a Friend, She's a Rainbow. That's a pretty good resume, you know. Anyway, he had a one-off group called Sweet Thursday. And that is the first one. It's a pretty mellow record. It looks like it came out, when did it come out? 1968, I believe.
Is it self-titled or?
Yes, Sweet Thursday. And it's a full group, but he's the name I recognize. So that's the one I'm kind of using as a reference point. So that is the first record. The second record is, for a while, I kind of became, I don't know if obsessed is the right word, but I really got into that weird period of the Beach Boys where it wasn't really Brian Wilson that much. I mean, I, of course, like Smile and all that, Pet Sounds and all that, but later on, when it was like he starts losing it, the rest of the band kind of has to step up to the plate, and especially Dennis Wilson stepped up to the plate. I'm gonna pick Friends by the Beach Boys. It's very mellow. There's two really good Dennis Wilson songs on here, Little Bird and Be Still. This is like when they were fully into the whole Maharishi thing. So it kind of has that late 60s vibe of just, you know, calm and peace. And it actually was an interesting record because this is when a lot of people were making protest records and getting super political, and they were getting more and more mellow. In fact, there's like a full-on Exotica song on here called Diamond Head that, you know, could be like Martin Denny or something like that. So, I mean, they really got mellow at this point. So, you know, I just love the fact that other than potentially the title track, there's not really a hit on it. It's all seems like deep cuts to me. And even the title track, it's like a waltz. So this isn't just a typical kind of a pop record, like at all. So a little different, maybe not for everybody, but it's really mellow and I like it. So that's my second selection.
Cool. Okay. Steve.
All right.
Remember, good albums this week.
Yes. Well, I know Glenn likes this artist. He just picked up what is probably his best album. And that is Ian Hunter and The Artful Dodger. That's from 1996. Marcia's heard the story tell the story about the one track on here, Michael Picasso, which is about Mick Ronson and just how they loved each other like brothers. After Mick Ronson died, he composed this song about how Mick Ronson would stay at his house and everything. And it's a great song. It's a hard song for me to listen to without tearing up. If you have the lyrics in front of you, it should make you tear up, especially when you're thinking who it's about. But this like third song, Something to Believe In, it sounds like he's got the E Street Band with him. It's like the sound on You're Never Alone with Schizophrenic Glenn, because he's got the E Street Band there. But this is a completely different group of musicians here. He recorded this in Norway. He somehow met up with this composer or conductor, and he did 2 albums in Norway. They did nothing here. I mean, but he actually recorded a live album with the conductor and his orchestra, which is great. If you can find that, get that too. But that's the first one from '96, Ian Hunter's The Artful Dodger. Up next then is a, well, it's not a super group. I mean, the band, the Soul Savers, okay? This is their album, The Light, the Dead Sea, but S-E-E. I love this album cover. It's the vocals are done by Dave Gahan of Depeche Mode. I'm not much of a Depeche Mode fan. The music sounds nothing like Depeche Mode, but his vocals are great. And I will just tell you what they said about this album. The Light, the Dead Sea is an album you listen to late at night, possibly in the dark and absolutely alone, with a dash of Nick Cave and a shade of Scott Walker. It is one of those albums that I do listen more like November through February than at any other time of the year. Just it's a fantastic album. I just love this thing. This was my number 2 album of 2012.
Did you call it Soul Savers?
Soul Savers, all one word. But I don't like what they did with the album because the CD was a different color scheme, and I like that much more on the blue. It's a navy blue. I don't know why they went to that for the album, but
All right.
The Light, the Dead Sea. Oh, okay. I looked up the title because it's when you're saying it, I'm thinking Dead Sea, like SEA.
It's Light the Dead Sea, yes. And Larry.
Okay. My first offering is a progressive rock band. And the first time I heard this album by them, I was disappointed in it. It was still, progressive rock, but it was a bit more commercial and it starts a little poppy. So I was kind of turned off by it. But on further listens, it's become possibly my favorite album by them. It is, and it's, it's still got lots of great progressive rock music in it. It is Nectar, Down to Earth. Right, Steve?
Yes, I like that album. Do you want me to select it?
Yeah. So yeah, very, very impressed with it. And it's it's like 35 minutes long. It's not too long. And my second offering is the second album by the Claypool Lennon Delirium, which is Sean Lennon with Les Claypool, and it's Monolith of Phobos. If you love bass guitar, like the first time I heard this, it was almost like, because the bass guitar is almost like a lead instrument, it was almost too much. But on further listens, the songs are just great. Sean Lennon's vocals, I love his vocals, and just a really fun listen. So highly recommend it. And the two I'm going to pick, I'm going to go back. Glenn, I'm going to pick Corinne Bailey, Black Rainbow as my first pick.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm curious. And my second pick, I'm going to pick Chris again with Beach Boys Friends, because I'm just curious to hear the whole album. All right, Steve.
All right. Excuse me. Man, talk about a tough week. As Marcia emphasized, there is at least one member that does not like Lou Reed. And I've never heard anything I like that Jack White has done, so I'm not going to choose him. I'm not a Beach Boys fan. I might have to go back into the well here.
Steve might have to choose his own.
Yeah, I was going to say, can I pick an album of my own?
Well,
Steve.
Oh, you know what I'm going to choose, Glenn? I know you talk about the band a lot. I'm going to go all the way back to week 1, and I'm going to take Lowest of the Low.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank was
Awesome.
just gonna say, Steve, please take the lowest of the low album. It's freaking
Yeah.
all you
Good
guys should
choice.
the album at some point. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Wow, that made me happy.
Man, I think I'm gonna have to go back in the well again. Let's see. Oof. You can edit all this dead air out,
Oh
Larry.
yeah.
Oh, you know, yes. I did not go back and listen to after you talked about it, Chris, about how much you liked Chaos and Creation. This will give me a reason to go back and listen to it.
Yep. Awesome.
So
All right.
I am going to take Chaos and Creation.
All right, Chris.
All right. I know New York very well by Lou Reed. I do like Lou Reed. But I'm really familiar with that record. Romeo had Juliet, Dirty Boulevard, all that good stuff. It's a street record. It's a gritty record. It's a good one. I only know Psycho Candy by Jesus and Mary Chain. I don't know any other record by them, so that's potentially one of the picks. I am going to pick Ian Hunter, Artful Dodger, because honestly, I only know just a little bit of Mott the Hoople when it comes to him. So it's a whole new planet for me to potentially dive into that, which is kind of exciting. So I'm going to go Ian Hunter, Artful Dodger for one of them. The Soul Savers with Dave Gahan looks really interesting to me because I do like Depeche Mode a lot. Even though I know you mentioned it doesn't sound like it, I like his voice. I have a different Nectar album that I enjoy. Les Claypool's in Primus, right?
Yep.
He's a fantastic bass player. This is hard.
Now, just remember, Chris, I've chosen you 2 weeks in a row. I'm just saying.
I know. It could go. I mean, I kind of feel like I know what I'm going to potentially experience with Jesus and Mary Chain. Yeah, I'm with Jesus and Mary Chain. I already like them. I already know I like them. So it would be, but I wouldn't mind hearing a different album than the only one I know. Let's do Nectar, because it's just different. It's different, and I have the vinyl of another one, but not this one. So I'll check that one out. So I've got Nectar, Down to Earth, and I've got Ian Hunter, Artful Dodger, because the only Ian Hunter that I probably can say I know fairly well is All the Young Dudes, Mott the Hoople.
Okay. Marcia.
All right, I'm going to take the Nicky Hopkins. I did not know he ever
that's
made a solo album or an album outside of the Rolling Stones and the Kinks and all of that. So I'm going to take that. And then I'm going to go back too. I'm going to do Lowest of the Low as well.
Fantastic.
Now Glenn wants to know if we can do this on Christmas Eve because he wants to hear the reviews.
Yeah.
What is the Lowest of the Low? Is that a self-titled?
No, it's called Shakespeare, My Butt.
Okay.
And Sweet Thursday is on Spotify for sure.
Yeah. All right. Glenn.
Okay, Steve, you know I love you. You're like the most amazing man in the world. And I feel absolutely horrible that I've been ignoring you. I would never want to do that to you, my friend. I'm taking Ian Hunter and Soul Savers.
Oh! Wow.
Hold on a second here.
It's very interesting, both those choices.
It's an emotional
This is
episode.
a moment for sure.
Okay. I would have hugged you harder in Tulsa if I'd known this moment was coming.
I didn't know you could hug anybody any harder.
All right. So I guess that's it. Any final words from anybody? And also remember to check out everybody's YouTube channel, including Chris. He has started up a YouTube channel. So please check it out and subscribe.
Well, Merry Christmas, everyone, from the
Yeah.
Album Exchange.
Yes. Have a safe holiday, everybody.
Yeah. And remember to leave a comment below and a like, and check out everybody's channel.
Oh, I'm interested. And let's mention Gene, Powell, and Morris, who are playing along. It'll be interesting.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
chosen their albums, so let's see. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting
they
to
always
see what
leave
their
really
comments.
interesting comments. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So thank you for doing that.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.